This could have been time that house could have been sitting on the market collecting more offers. Hey guys, welcome back to the Financial Minute. I am so happy you joined me today, and well, have I got some news for you guys. Guess what? I sold my first house. I've actually never sold a personal house before, but I just sold one. I've bought many of them, but I've never actually sold one. But yeah, I just sold my first house ever today, actually. We closed on it officially. And I learned a few things. Quite a few things, actually, the hard way. And I thought I would teach you how not to make these same mistakes when selling a house. It could save you many zeros with some numbers in front of them and a little dollar sign, you know? Yeah, it could save you some money by paying attention to these little details that we didn't pay enough attention to. So, let's get to it right after this. So guys, I learned many things selling this house, but I've narrowed it down to a list of 10 things that you should keep in mind when selling a house. Let's get to it. Number 1, don't be in a rush, especially in a hot market or it's a market where there's more buyers than there are sellers. Be patient. Don't jump on that first offer you get, or even out of the first 4 or 5 offers you get. When it's a seller's market, time is in your hands, not theirs. So be patient, accept many offers before you determine which offer you're going to go with. Also, remember guys, don't necessarily shy away from FHA loans. If it's a much higher offer, just because it's an FHA loan versus maybe a conventional or even better, a cash offer, cash is not always king. Because guess what? At the end of the day, even though it may take a little longer, if they're offering you a lot more money, money is money. So guys, that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, if your house has a well or a septic, have it serviced. And know what you have before you sell. That was one of the things that tripped us up on this particular property. It had both a well and septic, and the inspection accused us of having a house that had a failed septic. Now, I know for a fact that septic has never malfunctioned and was serviced earlier in the year, or pumped, and showed no issues of failing. But because I didn't have any documentation to prove that, their documentation from their septic guy prevailed, and that ended up costing me $5,000 or $6,000. Whereas if I had had the proper documentation on that septic, we probably wouldn't have even needed a test in the first place. Tip 3. Here we go. Read all contracts and rebuttals carefully, guys. When you're listing a property, know what you're listing. Are you going to pay half of the closing costs, or are you going to pay typical closing costs? I learned that the hard way. We put 50-50, and I learned 50-50 means literally 50-50. So normally the seller pays less closing costs, but because it was worded as 50-50 in our contract, we paid some of their closing costs, some of the buyer's closing costs, which I would not have done in hindsight. So read those contracts carefully. Also read the rebuttals. So if they respond to an offer, or you respond to an offer, make sure you read all the wording carefully. Make sure nothing slips through, no little clauses, etc. Tip 4. In a hot market, I would say think about selling it as is, because there's a limited number of houses for people to choose from. If you sell it as is, there's much less likely that people are going to give you a really high offer and then try to negotiate with you after they've locked up your property. So if you sell it as is, there's much less likelihood of people trying to negotiate after they've locked up your property. For instance, a buyer says, okay, yeah, I'll give you, let's say, $300,000, which is $30,000 more than the next highest offer you've gotten, and you're like, okay, let's do it. They lock it up, and then in the little, in the paper it says in the clauses, we have a right to inspection, and that means they can negotiate. So they see things they like, don't like, etc. in that inspection report. Now they can try and negotiate you down after they've locked in a price. Of course, you can back out, but this could have been time. That house could have been sitting on the market collecting more offers. So remember, in a hot market, I think selling as is not necessarily a bad thing. Some people may disagree with me on that statement. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Okay, guys. Tip 5. Update where possible. We didn't do some of the updates. Looking back, I wish I would have put in new countertops. I think we could have. Kitchens are really important. Bathrooms are really important. So update those as much as possible. I should have went with new countertops. I regret it. It cost me. New countertops don't necessarily cost. I mean, they're expensive, but not really. You can do decent Formica countertops for $1,000. So do countertops, do hardware, new doors, etc. Tip number 6: make sure first appearances are key. So when somebody pulls up to your driveway, what do they see? Do they see a fence that's broken, gutters that are clogged, falling off the house, grass that's not mowed, in our case a well cover that's damaged, all this kind of stuff, shrubs that aren't trimmed? None of this stuff costs a lot to fix. Get it all fixed. Make sure the front door has a good working lock so you can put the lockbox on the front door. You want people coming into the front of the house. And while you're at it, make sure the front of the house looks exceptional. Another lesson I learned the hard way. We put our lockbox in the back of the house because that's where we had a keyed lock, and I didn't have a keyed lock for the front of the house. Hindsight, I should have put a keyed lock for the front of the house. I hope you guys learned from some of these mistakes, and it can save you many, many dollars. Tip number 7, guys. Try a newbie realtor. Now, when I say newbie, I mean somebody who's listed, quite a few houses already, but not somebody who has tons and tons of experience and who has, lots of contracts going. Use somebody who maybe necessarily is getting into it recently, is moving up the chain, but not somebody who's at the top, because this person is going to give you much more effort. They're going to have more time to spend with you and give you much more of their attention than, say, a much more seasoned realtor who has a huge following. This is my personal opinion. Let me know what you think, guys. As always, when selecting this realtor, just look for somebody who maybe has some feedback, and it's all really good feedback. Just not somebody who's been doing this for decades, who has a huge list, and you may not even be able to get in with them anyways. So you want somebody who has good feedback online and who knows their way around, but it is still, getting started and building their resume. Doors are so important. Make sure your doors are all in good working condition, have decent looking hardware on them. Maybe you gotta paint them or replace them. Doors aren't that expensive. Interior doors especially, you can get nice clean looking brand new interior doors and install them yourselves for not a whole lot of money, or just hire somebody to install them. Doors make a huge impression. Brand new doors in an older house make that house look much newer than it really is, and helps at the end of the day bring you in more money. And if you can't do new doors, just at least update the hardware on them, especially if it's not working properly, or adjust the hardware that is there at least so it is working properly, and make sure it's oiled and latches latch and unlatch. Okay, guys, tip number 7. Make sure all the lights are working. All the light bulbs are working. All the ceiling fans work. Replace the light bulbs. These are not expensive modifications. Maybe throw in a fancy light right at the entryway, so it adds some aesthetic luxury as people enter your house. Maybe a chandelier. you look around, there's so many options, but at least make sure all the light bulbs work and that every room has a light. Be careful. Remember, a lot of times rooms only have plugs, so if you removed all of the light fixtures, all of a sudden that room is completely dark. If people are showing your house, especially in the winter months, a lot of times there's no sun out and that room is going to be pitch black. Nothing sells a house worse than pitch black interior. So make sure there's good light in every room and upgrade light applications when possible. Tip number 9. Communicate as much as possible with your realtor, or if you are a realtor, communicate with your buyers. Don't be shy. Let them know what's going on. Do you have 5, 6, 7 offers on the table? Let them know. Let them know you have a lot of offers. Tell them this is the number you want them to beat. Give them the ability to say to their client, this is the number we have to work with. Can we counter offer, etc. The more you communicate, the higher dollar you're going to get. So if you got somebody who's offering you $215, let everybody know, all your other offerees, all the other realtors, let them know that you have that amount so far. And if people are interested and they want that house really badly, that's the number they got to start going over. Start a bidding war, and the only way to do that is by communicating. So guys, that's 9 tips. I got one more, but so far we've done the interior, we've done the exterior. What else? Make sure the carpets are clean. Hire somebody to clean your carpets. It's money well spent. Just let a professional do it. If you have carpets, if you have tiles, hire a company to clean all the grout and reseal them. This is money well spent. Those flooring surfaces will look a whole lot better, and your sale price will thank you. Well guys, that's 10 tips for selling a house. I just sold my house. These are some of the things I learned the hard way. Some of them more hard than others. I hope this helps you out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always guys, remember, only you can make your financial dreams come true. Don't delay. Get started today. Go out, buy some real estate. Maybe not right now though, because prices are quite high. But remember, real estate is a really good investment tool. But with everything else, there are seasons to buy and the seasons to sell. So if you own it, now may be a good time to sell. But if you want to buy real estate, maybe now's not the time to do it. Maybe it is in your area. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget, please hit that like button and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. Be safe. God bless.